Hi guys, I'm back. I was away. I went to San Antonio last week. I went with my hubby, obviously, but he had to work while we were there. He gets posted not posted. He's not in the army or anything, but he gets sent to different places to work, and I thought I'd go with him, seeing as I've never been before. I absolutely love it there. I loved the Alamo and the Riverwalk and all that. It was great. But I'm back to do a tutorial, and today I'm actually going to do a cane. I don't want you to panic. I don't want you to feel intimidated. Trust me when I say I am no expert in canes, but what I found has helped me to try and understand how they work is to treat them like a jigsaw puzzle. So when I make one, I don't necessarily have a particular design in mind. I just kind of wing it, to be honest with you. Now, I have made this cane before. It's my own design. I've tried it out a couple of times. The first time I did it, it was nice. The second time I did it, I tweaked it a little bit and I liked it much better. So I'm going to try and do it that same way, but I'm not going to make any promises because I'm likely to forget exactly what I did. But I'm going to wing it. I'm going to make it sound like I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, enough of that. I'm making a cane. I'll make some pretty little pendants with it. So what I've got is 4 1-ounce blocks of Premo translucent. I would have preferred to use Premo white translucent, but I ran out. So what I'm saying is any translucent will work, although I don't recommend, especially if you're a beginner, I don't recommend doing it came from Cernit because it's really soft. I would recommend going with a firmer clay like Premo or Pardo, but it's all on you. So that's the translucent clay. I've also got some Premo bright green pearl, and that's a strip of that rolled onto a number 6, and I've also rolled out a little log as well. And then I've also got another strip of clay, and this is the Peacock Pearl Premo. Again, another sheet rolled onto a 5 and a log. You're probably not going to need all of this. I just rolled out what I had left. And then some Premo White, another strip rolled onto 6. These are all 6. I keep saying 5. These are all number 6. And then a log of the white Premo. And then I've got another strip, which is, what colour is this one? Have I lost the colour on it? What's this one called? I've lost the colour on it, guys. Anyway, it's this one. I don't know, I can't find the colour. I think I've like tore it off by mistake. I'm not sure what that's called. It might be magenta. And then another log of that. So these are all rolled onto a 6. These are all 1 ounce each. So that's the clay that you're going to need. Of course, you can do any colours you want to. These are just the colours I'm going with. And you'll also need some Mylar flakes, which I have some of those listed in my Amazon storefront, linked in the description. And I'm also going to be using some glitter. For now, I've just picked out some blues. I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with. This is the Peacock Blue and the Dodger Blue and the Holographic glitters, and you get a whole set of colours. Again, they're listed in my Amazon storefront. And you'll also need some UV resin. Now, this is my favourite resin. It's the Jade Diction hard type. Again, that's listed in my Amazon storefront. You'll need a blade. I've just got something to poke into the clay. I'm just using a paintbrush, but you can use whatever you've got to hand. And obviously some cutters. And that's the wrong one. I wanted this one, this butterfly cutter, which I got from Oh Joy Creations, and I'm probably going to use this one as well. I use all my cutters from Oh Joy Creations. I will list her shop in the description. Alright, so that's all the clays and colours sorted. Let me just make some room. And what I'm going to do to start with is just take each of these little logs and quite simply make a slit to about the halfway mark in the log. So you're not going all the way down, and just kind of open it up a little bit. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just cutting a slit. like that. And I'm going to take a little tiny piece of the colour, whichever colour you want to go with first. This is the green. Just open that up and pop it in there, like so. As easy as that. It's just giving it a little pop of colour. I'm not using a lot of colour. So there's that one. Same with the other log. Take it down about halfway-ish. Split it open a little bit. Get your other colour, your next colour. Just make sure it's a nice straight edge, of course. And then pop it back open. I had a right nightmare conditioning this Premo, guys. Oh my gosh. And I'm going to make a confession. This is take 2 of this video. I'm absolutely gutted. I used so much clay, the same amount of clay as I'm using now, and I completely screwed it up. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I've been asked so many times to do this cane, and I really didn't want to do it, to be honest, because I do struggle with them, and they, you know, if you screw it up, you feel like you've wasted so much clay. But you know, I aim to please, so take 2. Oh, anyway, back to the Premo. This was a nightmare to condition. Every now and then I'll get a really dry, crumbly block of Premo. It drives me crazy. So I've had a bit of a battle with the clay itself, and this is take 2. And I'm hoping I don't screw it up this time. And I'm trying to get this in there, and it's not cooperating. So that's all you're doing. You're just putting a tiny little slither of colour into the log. And I also forgot to mention, I've actually got some backing clay rolled out as well, and I'm actually using Cernit translucent for my backing, but you don't have to. And that's rolled onto a number 2, but I've got it on some paper leaching because it was very sticky. If you don't know what that is, if it's too sticky, just put it in between, roll it out, put it in between 2 pieces of paper and let it sit on there just for a few minutes. Keep checking it. You don't want to dry it out too much, and then it should be easier to work with. That was just a little side note. So that's 3 of the logs. Last one then, another little slit, and a little slither of this pink. I think it's magenta. I lost the label, and just pop that in there like so. Alright, so you've got 4 little, they look like little hot dogs, don't they, with little colourful sausages in the middle. Right, I'm going to take the one with the pink in the middle, and I'm alternating the colours. I'm not going to wrap pink with pink. I'm going to wrap the pink in the green, just because. Just be a little bit random. Just makes it a little bit different. So I'm just swapping the colours out, basically. Just wrap each log in each of the colours. Now, tip for when you're doing a cane as well. Oops, I didn't do that very well, did I? It's not very equal. It's not very level. Yeah, a tip. It's easier and better if you actually get all of your components ready, rather than, you know, faffing around going backwards and forwards. Well, now I need this and now I need that. Get everything prepared, and then you just putting everything together. So I'm wrapping that one in the green. I'm just going to give it a little squish and a little roll. Make sure it's stuck together. Don't worry about the ends too much at this point, because there's always a bit of wastage with canes. Well, there is when I make them anyway. and they'll get tidied up. Now let's take the one with the blue centre and wrap it in this pink, why not? I hope I've rolled this sheet big enough. Just wrap it up, and when you've rolled it, if you give it a little rock, you'll be able to see a little bit of a line, and that's where you know to cut so it matches up on the other side. Just a little tip, and I'm sure most of you know that, but like I say, I do try and include beginners as best as I can. Just give that another little squeeze, another little roll. Log number 2. Let's take the green and drop it in the white. You don't have to do the same colours, you don't have to do like I'm doing. I'm just swapping out the colours just to give it a little bit of a different look. Rather than white on white, pink on pink, green on green. You get me, guys, you get me. Right, that's that one. A little squeeze, a little rock, a little roll, and that's log number 3. And then the last one, I've got the blue left, and that's going to go with the white centre. Give it a little rock so you can see where the line is. Sometimes it sticks like that because I press too hard, but oh well. And that's that one. And we just put these logs to one side, but they're there. I'm just making myself some more room. Alright, so when you've got all your logs done, you're going to take each one and we're going to reduce it a little bit. I'm just giving it a little bit of a roll first, and where the centre was dropped in, that's going to be where you're going to create your point. So I'm just making each of these logs into little triangles, and I'm just gently pinching at the top to make that triangle shape, just to start off with. So just make a point at the top basically. It's not a triangle yet, I was just showing you. And then I just like to keep pressing and turning and stretching as I turn it over to try and keep it nice and equal. I'm so nervous that I'm going to screw up again, guys, because if I do, I don't think this will be a tutorial because it takes up a heck of a lot of clay. Well, quite a lot of clay. It's a lot of clay when it's wasted, do you know what I mean? It's like, oh my gosh, I just used 2 blocks of clay and got nothing from it, although I'll use it for something, probably chippy choppy. Alright, so just keep, you know, pressing down, turning, get some nice sharp points going on. Like that. And I'm just going to chop the ends away so it's nice and tidy. Don't throw these pieces away. There's a lot of translucent in there. They'll make brilliant chippy choppy. Alright, so there's the first one, and it just looks like a simple triangle. Simple as that. I'm going to do the same with all 4 colours. So I'm not going to do all of that on camera. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Just take where the colour is in the middle, make that the point, and make it into a nice sharp triangle. So I'm going to do the same with all the others, and I'll be back. So I took all of these and turned them into neat little triangles on each colour, made them all the same length, and now I'm just going to quite simply piece them together, make sure they match up both sides like that. No particular order. I just want to make this one a little bit sharper, I think. but no particular order, but I'm just lining up those little center points on both sides like so. Easy. Let's stretch this one out a little bit. It's not quite long enough. Just make sure they're nicely stuck together, so all the little points are all facing the same way, like so. Okay, and that's as easy as that. Make sure they're all nicely stuck together. And then I'm just going to start turning it into a bigger triangle. So we're making this bit here into a point. And it's quite a big lump of clay, so it might hurt your fingers a little bit, but just go slow and just keep turning it as you go. Just try and get a nice point going at the top. I'm not reducing it by a massive amount at this point, just trying to get that triangular shape going. So you will be reducing it a little bit, but not too much. And this, like I say, this Premo, I mean, I put some clay softener in it. Oh, and just while we're talking about clay softener, somebody asked me, if you do get dry, crumbly clay, don't throw it away. It's still usable, but you might need to drop some of this Sculpey thinner and clay softener into the clay. What I do is, if it's dry and crumbly, chop it up into smaller pieces. Put a few drops of this on it. You don't need a great deal, just 4 or 5 drops. Depends how much clay you've got, but you're not putting a load of that in there. Just drops, and then push it back together and see if it works. If it doesn't, add a little bit more, and just keep playing with it until it's nice and workable. Because somebody did ask me that a while ago, and I meant to mention it in my other tutorial, but I completely forgot. But seeing as I had to use it today, which I don't use it very often, I don't need to, but today was different. The clay was terrible. Alright, so when you've got it into a nice pointy triangle, and it's not even a perfect triangle, but we're just looking to get that point at the top. Like that. And I'm just going to get rid of these ends now, so we've got a nice tidy triangle, like so. Then what we're going to do when we've done that is get it and take it and cut it in half-ish, like so, and we're going to reduce 1/2, and we need to make it long enough to get 3 equal pieces that are going to be the same length as that. So this has got to be reduced quite a long way. So again, same thing, you just doing the exact same thing, you're just making it longer. And that's all I'm going to do, but I'm going to do the rest off camera, guys, because this is going to take some time and I don't want to bore you with it. So we're just going to take it down quite a bit more, and you need to get 3 equal pieces that are going to be the same length as this piece here, and I'll be back. Alright guys, so I've reduced these down so they're all the same length as the bigger block. Now this was a little over 2 inches, so I made this 6 and a bit inches long as approximate, but so long as they're, you know, roughly the same size as this, because now what we're going to do is I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit, try and make it a little bit crisper. Okay, we're going to take one of those pieces, point up and pop it on the top like this. Now this is going to look like a really odd cane, I know, but just kind of place it on top and curve those edges down so it kind of fits over like this. And it's not quite long enough, but I'm not going to worry about it because I'll just trim away the edges. Because like I say, it was a bit of an off. It was a bit over 2 inches and I needed, you know. Okay, so I'm just going to level that off a little bit. If that happens, just level it off a little bit and make sure it's firmly stuck down. So it kind of looks like that. It looks a bit odd, I know. And then what I'm going to do, and this is where you need the logs that I told you about, is I'm going to take the very tip and start to pinch it and thin it out and kind of pull it up at the same time. Now this is why I kind of view canes as jigsaw puzzles, because I sat down and said, what do I want to make? I don't really know. I'll just play around. And this is what I came up with. And I do that with all of the canes that I've actually done for tutorials. And they all look kind of similar because they're all just basically flower type canes. But so I'm just kind of thinning this out and stretching it up. You can get it really quite thin. You see how it's pretty thin now. And then what I'm going to do is pick any one of those logs. It doesn't matter which one. I'm just going to reduce it a little bit. It's a bit too thick. I'm just going to get rid of that edge. Actually, I think I rolled that too thin. Start again. Just reduce your little log a little bit to about so size. Pop it at the top of that piece that you've thinned out and just gently squeeze it onto the log so it's stuck on. And then obviously we don't need all that, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Alright, and then when you've done that, you're just going to gently roll this over, and it's just going to give a little bit of added interest to the cane. So this is what I did. I just kind of played around it and made things kind of fit like a jigsaw puzzle. So now you've got like a little swirly thing going on there now. Kind of looks like a bit of a wave or something. So I'm just going to leave that for the time being. We might play around with that again in a minute. Take another of those pieces and pop it sideways so it's touching the bottom of the bigger triangle. I'm just going to stretch this out a little bit. It's not quite long enough. It's just fractionally smaller. So sideways, so the triangle point is kind of facing at this angle, like so. So it's not really matching anything, it's just, I'm just plopping it on there. Okay, make sure it's nice and stuck down, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take the edge, the point of that triangle, and what I like to do to try and keep it level is just every now and then give it a little squeeze, a little push, so it doesn't like splay out like that. And just pull it, gently pull it up, so you've got that nice thin point. Just be gentle though, because obviously as you're pulling it, the clay's getting thinner. You don't want it to break. You can kind of just, you know, do that. I don't know the terminology, just do that. Alright, so when you're happy that you've got it thin enough, you can see it's got a little bit of a curve going on. Pick another one of your logs, doesn't matter which. I'm going to go with the whatever this colour is, I can't remember. Pink, magenta, red, I don't know. Just reduce it a little bit. And we're going to go, what am I doing? This way. We're not folding it this way this time like this one, we're going inwards on this one. So I'm going to pop that in there Just line it up with the edge again, stick it down. I hope you can see what I'm doing, guys. Let me just hold it up a bit. Obviously we don't need all of this, so we're just going to cut that excess off. Okay, and then you're just going to roll it in on itself this way. This one we did that way, now we're going in this way. And I'm just kind of teasing it a little bit. And it's not perfect, but now we've got this odd looking shape going on. It looks really weird, I know. Right, last piece then, and that's going to go on this side again at an angle. I'm just going to neaten it up a little bit, get it a little sharper and maybe just a fraction longer. And we're going to put it on the other side now. So edge to edge like that, with this white bit at the angle, the top of the triangle at an angle, like so. And we're going to do the same thing. Make sure it's all stuck together nice. And then we're just going to start pinching this up as well and thinning this edge out. And I've got cramp. Ow. I hope all this is making sense. I'm explaining as best as I can as I go, and I know this is probably going to be a longer video. I really hope people aren't going to be put off by watching this because it's a cane, because it's really not that complicated. It's just more time consuming, I guess, making sure everything kind of fits together. So just keep pinching that up until you're happy. And let's grab another colour, and I'm going to go with the green this time. So I've got the red, the blue, the green. And I will stress this, you don't have to use these colours. Basically pick 4 colours of your choice. And same thing, I'm just going to make that a little bit thinner. Pop that in there. Give it a little mush. Get rid of the excess because we don't need that. Don't worry about the edges, they're going to get tidied up. And this has been causing me a problem. It's been splitting a little bit, so I'm going to have to be a bit careful. I think it's because that Premo was just so dry, but the more we play with it, the softer it's going to get. So just kind of gently curve it over like so. If it breaks like mine is, just, you know, give it a gentle squeeze. And we have got a very weird looking cane. It actually looks a bit like a hat, a jester's hat. At least it doesn't look like a bum, like on that other video that I did ages ago. Oh my gosh, I still laugh about that one. Some of you guys perhaps haven't seen it, but there was one video that I did that I was making a cane and it looked like a bum. Well, it looked like a bum to me. Quite a few other people said it looked like something else, but we won't say what. It was hilarious. Alright, so when you've got all your components together, this is where you've got to start manipulating a little bit. We want to join this up now, so we're going to bring the centre one to try and join it up with this one here. And it does take a bit of work, but you're essentially just pushing them together so there's no gaps. So we're getting even more of a curvy pattern in this now. So you end up with something a little bit like that, and it doesn't look the tidiest at this point, but don't panic because it's going to get reduced. So I've just curved it right over so those two pieces join together, and now what I'm going to do is bring this one up to try and fill this gap here. I hope I'm making sense. I'm just pushing this last piece up and in, like so. just play with it, just be gentle with it, and this clay will, you know, get softer as you play with it. Now we have got some gaps going on now, so that's why I want to bring these logs back over, just to fill them in, and it also adds another little bit of interest. Right. Okay. What I am going to do before I do that though is just try and get this more triangular looking, not by much at this point, but can you see it's starting to look more of a triangle shape? So I'm just kind of manipulating it a little bit, but there's a few little gaps, so I'm going to take some more of these logs. Let's go with the blue, and this, it fills in this a little bit, levels it off a little bit, but it also adds another level of interest. See, like a jigsaw puzzle. Okay, so on this line here, I'm just going to pop that in there, just get rid of the excess, not being overly neat, but it just kind of fills that gap in a little bit. And I'm going to take that on this side and fill this other little gap in. You can see there's it's not really a gap, but it's not, the clay's not level with each other, so we're just filling it in a little bit. I'm just going to put that there, break off the excess, like so. Okay, now you could add some more if you wanted to. Let's have a look. Let's go with a little bit of white just to add a little bit more contrast. Just roll this out a little thinner. And let's just go underneath that blue one there. So you're just building the cane up a little bit, and let's go on top of the blue as well. So now it's a little more level, if that makes sense. And I think I'll just go with this green. Just roll this out a little bit and pop it underneath the other side of on that blue. So now we've got this, and I think that is all I'm going to do. Or what you could do actually, and I think I've changed my mind, guys. I'm going to do that. You see, this is what I do. I make up a cane. I've got my design. This is my original design. This is the one that I did last time. But I've just thought, you know what, we can change it up a little bit more, and it's not a drastic change. But let's just roll these logs out thinner. You could stop at this point if you wanted to, or you could carry on. And I'm going to carry on, and I'm just going to carry on adding these on either side. And I'm not even bothered if they're that neat or anything. I'm just kind of throwing it on there just to use up this clay. Why not? And it'll give you another little bit of interest. So there, one on this side, and I think, let me think, let's just throw that pink in there as well. So this is kind of what I do with canes. I get it going kind of thing, and then I thought, well, I could do that, or I could add that. And I found that I wasn't doing pink, was I? I was doing white. I found that, you know, it's helped me understand a little bit of how you can piece things together, and it doesn't have to be complicated. I don't think this is complicated, it's just time consuming. Alright, so there it is. Just a question of reducing it now. So we're going to keep it in that triangle shape, and just, you know, keep turning and stretching. I'm trying not to get too much wastage, so you kind of have to drag the bottom out like this, and the side, so it catches up, And just keep pinching at the top and keep turning and turning and squeezing. Alright guys, now this is quite a hefty cane, so I'm not going to do all this reducing on camera, obviously, but I'm going to take it down to I'm going to take it down to 6 inches so we get 6 equal pieces out of it when we come to cut it. Alright, so this is going to take me quite a while, so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing as I'm showing you now, but I'm going to take it down to 6 inches. Alright guys, so I took this down to 6 inches and now I've got some not that equal not that equal pieces. I'm so bad at cutting, even with the ruler. I'm terrible, but anyway, I've got 6 pieces and they should be equal, so I'm just going to have to make this work, and I'm going to fit them together. Wait a minute, what am I doing? I want it to match. Why is it not matching? Nope. Maybe turn it the other way. There we go. So you can match it whichever way you want to. There's that way, or you could do it that way. Which do I like best? I think I like it this way better. I'm going to do this way. So you just got to fit them together as best you can. Now my pieces are very uneven because I'm terrible at cutting, but I'm going to make this work as best as I can. So try and make sure they match both sides, like so. So that's the first bit, and now we've got to match this to this as best as you can. I'm sure you do a better job at cutting the pieces more equal than I did, guys, that's for sure. I think it's because I don't look straight down on it, so when I cut it I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm not cutting straight down, I'm cutting more like that, so I'm getting shorter pieces. What am I doing? Right, there we go. That's that one. Kind of. This is the one that's a little shorter, so I'm gonna make it work. And you can make it work, trust me, because I do it all the time, because I have to. Although this is quite a bit off, so it might not go to plan. You see, this is why I will maintain I'm no expert at canes, because I'm not very precise. But it's looking nice so far. Shall we put a middle in there? I think we shall, and I think I'll go with the colour that I don't know what it is because I can't remember. Just have a little bit of a centre. Let's pop that in there. Cut away the excess and continue to try and match this up. And this one's way off as well. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Let me just reduce this a little bit, just so it's a little longer. Derp. I don't know. I did it with a ruler and everything, but still doesn't. Oh, what the heck? That's better. I did it the wrong way. Alright. I'm just going to have to manipulate this a little bit. And this one's way off as well. Okay. Not bad. Not exactly the best lining up in the world, but you know. And then the final piece, I'm just going to try and slot in there as best I can and line it up as best I can. And there we go. ish. Oh dear. I hope you followed this, guys. I mean, it's a beautiful cane. I'm not bragging, but actually I am a little bit bragging because I just think it's gorgeous, but I'm just terrible at cutting equal. Alright, so there it is. And I just want to say I'm actually quite proud of myself because this is how much waste I got, which is not a lot. That's good for me. But that can be an amazing chippy choppy, so it's not going to go to waste anyway. Just wanted to show you that because I'm quite proud. Normally I've got like a lot more left over than that. Alright, so when you've matched it up as best as you can, you just need to reduce it some more so then you can make your slices. So I'm just going to make sure it's all nicely stuck together and matching as best as I can match it with unequal pieces. And I'm going to reduce it. So to reduce, you just start pushing down in the center, turn, push, squeeze, stretch, and you just keep doing that until you've completely reduced it down. So again, I'm not going to do all this on camera, but I'll just do a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And if you push in the middle, you're kind of making a little bit of a waste as you turn it. That's how I do it. That's the easiest way for me. And then when you've done that, you can then start pulling at the edges as well. Alright, so you can see it's already reduced a little bit. But I'm going to go and do the rest of that off camera and I will be back. Alright, I've taken it down as far as I want to take it down. I don't like to roll them too thin at this point. Because it's just better to have them bigger than you, especially if you're not going to use it for some time. Keep it bigger so that when you do come to use it, you can warm the clay up again when you reduce it so it's not crumbly. It's just advisable to keep them on the bigger side. So I'm just going to cut this in half and show you. And there it is. Pretty nice. Alright, so that's the cane. Let's do something with it. Now, if you've followed me for a while, you'll probably know that I always say the same thing. I like canes, but I don't like them to look too busy. That's just me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my backing clay that I told you about, my translucent backing clay. I'm just going to give it a bit of a wipe because it got a little bit of dust and whatnot on it. Just clean it up a little bit with some isopropyl alcohol. Just want to make sure it's nice and clean. Stubborn little marks on there. Okay, that's good. Alright, so I've got my translucent backing. I am using Cernit. And obviously this is Premo, but just bake at the Premo temperature. If you're mixing clays. I don't know if I already said this or not because this is my second take. I know I said it in the first take. I don't know if I said it in this one now. But if you're mixing clays, it's fine to go bake at the temperature of the one that cures at the highest temperature. Clay doesn't burn until it hits 350 degrees. So Cernit's 265, Premo's 275. Bake the whole thing at 275 because you need to ensure that the Premo is going to fully cure. Anyway, let's crack on with this. I'm going to make this butterfly that everybody wanted me to show how to make. Now, like I said, I did this cane before and I made a butterfly with it before, but as I told you as I was going along, I did change it up a little bit. So it's not exactly the same as the cane that I did before, but it's still pretty. I think it is anyway. But what I've done is taken a fairly thick slice, and this is just me, this is just how I do it. Not on all my pieces, but on a lot of my pieces. I just take a slice, gently roll it. I don't even care if it loses some of its uniformity. I'm not bothered. But as you stretch it out, obviously it's getting thinner and makes that pattern a lot more obvious as well. This is just how I like to do it. Alright, so it's beautiful. I love it. Look at that. My centre went a bit wonky, but I don't care. I still love it. Right, I'm going to stick that back down, and I'm just going to take really thin slithers. I'm not even going to use the whole slice. I'm just taking a slither like that, and I'm going to pop it on my clay. I'm just going to give myself a rough mark because I'm just making this look like butterfly wings. So I'm just very thin slices, and I'm just putting that there like that, and that's my butterfly wings. I might take it up higher actually, yeah. Alright, so that's all I'm doing for that one. I'm just going to give this a quick roll, obviously, because we need to make it nice and flush. Give it a quick burnish. I'm actually loving the colours on this one. I like the colours on the other one as well. Let me just quickly show you the other one, and you can see it's not exactly the same, and it's different colours as well. I pretty much did the same thing. The only difference was when I stacked those extra logs going all the way around. That's what made it look different. Actually, it looks a lot different, doesn't it? But still, I probably didn't do it the same at all. I told you I was going to wing it. Oh dear. Right, so I'm just burnishing those little pieces on there, like so, which I know I say that a lot, but you know. And I'm just going to cut out my butterfly. Where do I want it to go? Kind of wanted a little bit. I'm going to have to move this over, I can't see, guys. I kind of wanted a little bit more trans showing, so I should have probably cut those pieces a little smaller, but oh well, it still looks pretty. I don't know whether to go there. It's not even a symmetrical butterfly, you may have noticed. I can't decide where to put it. I think I'm just going to go there like that and hope for the best. I've no idea how long this video is going to be. Feels like I've been recording forever, but that's probably because I recorded it twice, so it's probably not as long as it feels. I'm just going to cut this out, and we've got ourselves a pretty little butterfly, but I'm not going to leave it at that. I'm going to add something to it when it's baked, but that's it at this point. I'm just going to get myself some paper, and that's what I bake it on, just some regular paper, and then put this on a baking tray in the oven. I don't use a toaster oven, I use my regular oven. It's recommended that you tent your pieces, especially translucent, with some aluminum foil. Just cover it over, make a little tent out of it and cover it. But that's the butterfly. Isn't she gorgeous? I love her anyway. Okay. I'm just going to give her another quick wipe. And she's ready to go in the oven once I've got that hair off it. Alright, so that's the butterfly, and I think she's beautiful. I love her. She's going to flutter off now into the oven. Okay, right. Might as well do one more pendant, just something a little different. Let me just get rid of this. I don't want to waste my Cernit trans. I don't have much of it left, so I'm just going to get rid of the bits with colour on it, and I've still got a nice little chunk there that I can use. Right, let's do something else. Why does my clay seem extra dirty today? I think I've got a hair stuck in that one. Try and avoid that then. Right, okay, so that's one way that I use my cane slices, and I'm still going to use this for something. I'll probably do another butterfly with it. But you know what? Let's reduce this a little bit. I'm just going to cut some of it away because I don't want to reduce all of that. So I'm just going to take this down smaller. And once you get it going, you know, it goes pretty quick. It's the initial reducing that's the hardest. We've already got it to the pattern that we want and everything. So I'm going to take this down a little bit more. And I'm going to cut this in half. I'm going to keep that at this size like that, and then I'm going to take this down a little bit smaller. So, you know, you can always have different sizes of canes like this. Just going to take this down a little bit smaller. I think that might be good. And then what you can do is go smaller still. So I'm going to cut that in half, and I'm just going to reduce this last bit even smaller. Okay, I think that's good. So I've got 3 different sizes, and obviously I've still got all of this left and still a big chunk of that left. But all I'm going to do is bring my backing over. Make sure this is nice and rounded. I may have to take off a slice. In actual fact, I've changed my mind. I was just going to do whole slices, but I've changed my mind. I'm going to do the slice of a slice instead. So I'm going to cut a fairly big chunk, press it onto my tile, excuse me, and give it a roll. And I'm just going to take thin slices and place it on like that. I just prefer it, guys. I just prefer the more fractured look. You don't have to. You can take full slices if you want to. Let's get another thin slice, and I'm just going to follow it around like so. Just kind of curve it around a little bit. I want to make sure get that on there, so I'm just kind of filling up this circle a little bit. Oops, I'm still going to use that. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. No, I'm not going to use that bit. Change my mind. Let me just roll this out a bit more. And what I notice when you roll it, it kind of, I can't even explain it. It gives it a more 3D-ish look. Does that make sense? I just really like doing that. That's just my favourite way to do it. Actually, I'm going to keep that as a whole piece because I really like that. And I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to get a couple of tinier ones. Just play around, guys. You know, do what you see fit. If you want to cut out whole slices, you can. I just like to do it like this. It's still, whoops, I screwed that one up. It still maintains the look of the cane. It just, I don't know, I just like doing it this way. Little thin slices. And I'm just going to pop that there, and it's okay to overlap. It's very thin pieces of translucent. I actually think it looks better if you overlap it a little bit. So I think I'm good with that, and I'm just going to get rid of that. Alright, so that's my cane. That's what I tend to do with them. You can do what you want with it. You can make full slices with it if you want to. And sometimes I do. It depends. I don't know. It depends what mood I'm in, I guess. And I've lost my steel soap. Where did it go? My desk is a mess, as usual. I'm just going to give this a quick burnish. Want it nice and flush on that backing clay. A little bit lumpy there. Okay, and I'm just going to get my cutter and cut it out, and that's it. I don't want that bit there like that. Try and... okay, that'll do. And cut it out. Alright guys, so I'm going to go and put these in the oven. I have got a few more pieces that I made from my other cane that I can probably show you. I'll make some more pieces with this one. But just, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, but that is just... I'm not blowing my own trumpet or anything, but that is gorgeous. I love that. I've got to be very careful lifting this because it's squidgy cernit. Don't drop it. Oh, see what I mean? Just get that more fractured look, but it's still kept the look of the cane. Oh, I really like that. Alright, so that's that pendant. That's the butterfly. I'll perhaps make some more pieces and I'll show you at the end. But I'm just going to go and put these in the oven and I'll be back. My pieces are out of the oven and some are under the UV lamp, and I'll show you all of them at the end, but I'll just show you what I did to the front. This isn't the actual butterfly I did on camera, but it's exactly the same as the other one. I'll show you the one that I made on camera. Just want to quickly show you the translucency in this. Pretty nice. But I'm just going to put these on my tile with painter's tape. And this is where you need the UV resin. And I'm just going to put some on the piece like this. Not too much. And I'm going to use a paintbrush to paint it on. Now, if you're using a brush to, with your resin, you can just then store it in some aluminium like this, and it keeps it nice and moist. No need to worry about cleaning them or anything. So I'm just going to take that resin and gently take it to the edge of the piece. Like so. It's a bit thick there, so I'm just taking some off. I don't want it to overflow. Okay, so you just put some resin on, don't put too much on, you don't want it to leak everywhere. Take it to the edges. I don't resin my actual sides of my pieces, I just sand them so they're nice and smooth. I usually just resin the front and the back. So I'm just making sure it's nicely covered, and when you're happy with that, just quite simply going to get my Mylar flakes that I showed you at the beginning and some tweezers, and I'm just going to take some little pieces and pop it directly on the resin. If I can actually get a good angle, just pop it on there like that. Let me just wipe these off. This bit I find awkward. I hate using tweezers. I'm a bit clumsy with them. So I'm just dropping a few little Mylar flakes on directly onto the resin, and it doesn't want to come off. There we go. And you can just manoeuvre them around a little bit where you want them to be. And that's literally all I did. It's just to give it a little bit of extra sparkle. Just some little tiny flakes, like so. And I'm going to put another little piece there as well. Oh my gosh. Right, there we go. And that's all I did, guys. Just added a little bit of sparkle here and there. Don't overdo it. But you can if you want to. You can put lots on, but that's all I did. So I'm going to go and do the same thing on this other one. And I will be back to show you all of the pieces. But stay tuned, because I didn't just do them on translucent. But that's that one. Alright, so I'm going to go and finish this one, cure them, and I'll be back. Okay guys, they're all finished. So let me just show you one by one. Alright, so this is the one that I did on camera. I didn't do the resin on camera for this one, I did it on this one, but same difference. The only difference is I did put the blue glitter on the back of this one, like I said at the beginning, the holographic blue, and that's that one. Did the same thing with this, but I put gold holographic glitter on the background, on the back. So you get two slightly different looks depending on what colour you put on the back. Let me just show you the translucency, and you'll be able to pick up that blue there a bit better, see? So that's that one with the blue on the back, and this is the one with the gold. Okay, so they're the two little butterflies that I did, but then I also did another butterfly, but I put the cane on black, so you're going to get another look again. So that's the butterflies. Ah. Okay, and then I did the round one. This is the one that I did on camera, and I did the blue on the back of this one. So there's that one. I feel like I overdid it with the Mylar flakes on this one, to be honest, but you know, whatever. That's that one. And then I did the same thing again, but gold on the back, so it gives you a little bit of a different look. So there's that one. And then I just did one with no resin, straight onto white, and sanded. Well, I've not actually buffed it yet, but it's sanded nice and smooth. So there's that one. All of these cutters are from Oh Joy Creations, including the big heart one. That is the larger one. It does come in a set of different sizes, but that's the larger one. And then we've still got all this cane left, so you can get so many pieces out of a cane. Alright guys, I hope it all made sense. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later.